have comments.
Howdy, everybody. How y'all doing today? Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Eric OBX Picker, and we're going to let him introduce himself to y'all here in a minute. I'm sure most of you knows who he is, but just in case you don't, he's an awesome guy. We were thrilled to be able to get him on here and be able to talk with him. And real quick, we're going to say hello to some people that's in the chat already. We got Cajun Roots reseller Johnny. Thank you for coming in here. Nikki T, how are you? Mr. Robert, howdy. Matthew, he says, we want a howdy. Mr. Robert, howdy.
Sorry, guys.
Are you good? We got Mr. Sam, Dapper Tiger up in the house. How you? And she's scrolling through these comments. Hold on. So Eric, why don't you take a minute and let people know who you are, where you're from, what you do, that kind of deal.
All right, guys. Well, obviously, OBX Picker on YouTube. But my real name's Eric, and I live out here on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. If you're not sure, like I have some people say, "What does box mean?" Like I was like, "No, it's actually the Outer Banks." So if you look at the map of North Carolina, we're out in the ocean on a little strip of islands. So that's where I live. I got into reselling back late September, a little bit of October. Honestly, kind of an interesting story. Just took my daughter used to do LuLaRoe, which I know you guys sell a little bit of, but my daughter was into LuLaRoe, like in their program. So she had a ton of that stuff sitting at our house. She's my oldest. She's 25. So that's kind of what led into me reselling, because honestly, I wanted to get that stuff out of my closet. And I went out and started doing a little yard sailing, started watching some videos. And next thing you know, we've got 2 rooms of our house full of eBay stuff. And we've been going. And then I started doing YouTube, probably not till like I was watching a lot of YouTube, you know, like the standard guys, Cincinnati Picker, like all those kind of guys. Matt, Part-Time Pickers, Lonnie, Craigslist Hunter, like the Bearded Picker, and a lot of those guys. And just started looking at that, saying, man, you know, I could incorporate that into my reselling. And I just document my own journey and try to add something to it. So that's what I'm doing, mostly selling eBay. I've done a little bit of Facebook Marketplace, dabbled in Amazon just a bit, but not a whole lot. So that's what I got going on.
Awesome. So you listed any of that LuLaRoe?
Dude, I actually flipped all of her LuLaRoe, ended up flipping it all on Let Go.
Really?
All in one bulk buy. Like
nice.
We had about, I would say retail value, like LuLaRoe retail value. She probably had about $3,000 worth. Wholesale value, not near that.
Yeah.
But I sold about maybe 4 or 5 pieces on eBay. And then I just put it out on Let Go. And where we're at, we get a lot of tourists that come from all over the country. So Let Go is a platform where if you list something on Let Go, if I'm driving through that area and I hit the Let Go button, I can see what's in that area to pick up. So someone saw it, hit me up, and we ended up doing a wholesale deal. Ended up selling it for about $900 and getting rid of it.
Wow.
That's what we did.
That's awesome. Hey, Rev, how you doing? Nice to have you in here. Eddie Trammell, howdy. We got Buying Space in the house as well. Island Homesteaders in here. Let's see, I think that's...
Here's Eric's channel.
Yep, if y'all ain't subscribed to Eric, he's a great content creator, great guy, super awesome. And y'all make sure to go over there and show him some love. Q gotta be kidding. That's my brother. Midwest Bargains in the house. Howdy, Jacob. Good to have everybody in here today. I think we said hello to everyone, maybe.
Yeah, I think.
Steve-O's in here. South Carolina Thrifted Treasures. Yeah, that LuLaRoe, man. I always heard, and she would tell me too, LuLaRoe ain't no good. It ain't no good. And I was looking at eBay, the comps on it, and it wasn't no good, you know.
Yeah.
But once we bought that over here next door, I've been thoroughly surprised at how fast it's selling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bringing, you know, big money, $10, $20 a piece, plus shipping. But I mean, whenever you
Right.
can get a lot of it at one time, and it's nothing for her to really list it, she can go through it pretty easy. I mean, every little bit helps.
Yeah,
Um,
for
so how
sure.
far away are you from Kill Devil Hills?
About maybe 20 minutes.
No kidding. Y'all
Like,
get hit by hurricanes, don't you?
oh yeah, all the time. It's,
I know.
it's one of
During
those things. It's
hurricane
funny.
season, you cut on the Weather Channel. No Jim Cantori standing out there at Kill Devil Hills.
We actually have a name for Jim Cantori. We call it Jim Tell a Story. he, he actually that there's definitely, when you talk about fake news, guys, if you're watching the Hurricane Channel, I mean, like you're watching the Weather Channel during hurricane season, you're gonna get the hype. For sure, because we actually this past year there was a guy who was filming for one of the channels. I think it was the Weather Channel, and he's on the beach like he could barely stand, and a little kid with his dog ran behind him, and so I mean, kid probably couldn't have been 4 or 5 years old. One of those things, but
Yeah,
it's funny. I was talking to Sam today about hurricane stuff because he was asking, well, on the Outer Banks, like we're known for wind all the time because we're out here on the coast. Mm-hmm. So actually, people do a lot of kiteboarding and stuff here. It's actually one of the top places in the world for that. So we get wind all the time. So when it's blowing 15, 20 here most of the time, people that aren't used to that, like they're like, it's blowing 20, like they start freaking out. But for us that live here, we kind of know, just stay off the beach unless you want to get exfoliated. You need to get off of there because they'll peel the skin off of you out there on them windy days. But we get that. I've probably been through about 20 storms myself, but that's one of those things. Yeah.
Well, Jacob says congrats on 600. So I guess you went past the whole big number there. So
yeah, I've actually hit 600 3 times and keep falling back and going back up. I saw Sam had put out his thing today, like congrats for Dapper Tiger on the 300. But he had finally announced that today, and we've kind of been doing the same thing, like bouncing up and down. Like I guess YouTube's acting weird and dropping.
Yeah, we have too.
So I was like, I haven't made a huge deal about it because I got up to like 603. And then I woke up the next day, I was at 595, and then I got back up to 601. Then I dropped back to 597. So,
well, either way, that's still awesome.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Very awesome. Larry Strazer's in here. Howdy. So being there on the coast, North Carolina, do you find when you go out sourcing, are you finding like more nautical beach themed stuff or touristy stuff to sell on eBay, or is it just like the run of the mill?
Most of the touristy stuff that's out here is it's like most touristy stuff, cheap, and it is prevalent. Like what we do find a lot of is cottage owners are always flipping furniture and flipping decorations and that kind of stuff. So you'll see a lot of that in the thrift stores. We have Wings. I don't know if you're familiar with that at all, but it's like a beach store that has everything, and
kind of like the Alvin's of Florida.
Yeah, like Panama City. But they probably have on just our stretch of beach alone, there's probably 15 of those stores, and they're like the size. I mean, they're probably, 20,000 square foot. They're massive. So,
and they probably all got store closing signs up.
Yeah. It's funny, like they word it tricky. One of them actually says going out for business sale. Instead of going out of business, they just flip the word a little bit, going out for business sale. I was like, that's the kind of sale I'm having every week on eBay, right? Going out for business. We're doing that.
Do you find like any kiteboarding stuff like he's talking about you could sell?
Yeah, I mean, I have seen it. Kiteboard is a very, very expensive hobby. I mean, some of those kites will go for thousands of dollars. But there is kind of this integrated community. So like people aren't looking to wholesale that stuff. They're not looking to sell it cheap. Basically they can pop that stuff on their sites, like the kiteboarders, and get top dollar for it. So most of the time it's hard to come by. I know a guy who repairs kites. Like I've known him for years. And I had at one point, I talked to him one time about it, but he's like, look, man, I mean, honestly, I can double my money all day long, like without having to have somebody else involved in it. So I've found like wetsuits and that kind of stuff from time to time, but not a ton of that. Like not for resale anyway.
I know when we were living in Florida, we would find like fishing gear all the time, like pin reels and Shimano reels. But the problem is the reels they're selling is already so corroded because it's been used for 10 years, you know, and they've just got a new one.
That salt eats it up.
Really, it really wasn't worth even, you know, picking up.
I've flipped a few pin reels. I know like my buddy's in here, Island Homesteader. I know y'all have seen him in our chats. He actually just started reselling a few months ago. And he's sold a lot of reels too. He's picked up some tackle and some reels. I've got like one of the big reels at the house that I've got to clean, but it's going to take a Dremel clean on that thing. So it's like a $100-$200 reel, one of the giant pins, the 9/0. Yeah. But I've flipped a couple of the smaller pins for sure. I see them around. But a lot of people come here to fish, surf fishing and all that. So there is a lot of that, but it's kind of the same thing. It's harder to come by because you can flip that all day long here, like locally, without doing anything out of the ordinary.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, actually, we have this place called Jockey's Ridge. You guys, I mean, if you Google the Outer Banks, you're going to see some pretty cool stuff. If you're ever in this area, like hit me up and I'll take you on a tour. But the Go Fly a Kite, they actually have this place called Kitty Hawk Kites. So Jockey's Ridge is like this massive group of sand dunes. I mean, they're huge. And people, they have like these big kite festivals and stuff out there. I'm talking like kites big as your house out there. That they have like this big manta rays and all kinds of crazy stuff. So that is one of the things. But the kite boarders, like the guys that you see strapped to a board, that those guys, they get in a little trouble from time to time with the wind. Like they've got them out of power lines before. So, trying to jump the highway and weird stuff.
I just want to say hey to Janet and hey to Frank.
Hey, Frank and Janet, glad y'all came in here. People don't get rid of their good reels very often. If they get rid of them, yeah, that's what I found down there too. So Nikki T wants to know, do you spend a lot of time on the water?
Nikki T, I'm as ginger as it gets, so I get. So, if I go to the beach, I look like definitely like a lobster. So I don't as much. My kids are beach babies though. They're not babies anymore. I have one that's she'll be 25 this year. My youngest will be 23. So they but when they were little, man, they're on the beach every day. Like it's one of them things. So it's cool to grow up with that, like them being able to do that. I spend some time on the beach, but maybe I'll go out there a couple times a year. Other than you guys saw in one of my videos that I went out and shot at Jeanette's Pier. I'll go out there occasionally and just kind of look at the sunrise or whatever. So
yeah, I know whenever we lived in Florida, I mean, when we first moved down there, we were at the beach all the time. But like anything, whether you live in the mountains, you know, in Colorado, you live at the beach, after a while it becomes just there and you take it for granted, you know.
No doubt. One of the things I really enjoy out here, though, is honestly, man, sunsets are awesome on the water. Here, like you see that a lot, and that's something I enjoy looking at.
Yeah,
but
so yeah, that's hilarious. Well, I'm sure it ain't hilarious to him,
but you hooked yourself with a gotcha reel.
Hey, I'll tell you a little funny story about that. So when I lived in Hatteras, down here where my sister's at, where Ken lives, the Island Homesteader. When I lived down here, I worked construction. I was like maybe early 20s, working construction, and I shot myself with a nail gun at work one day, and I had to go to the medical center. Yeah, I still have a little scar. It went like right in my hand right there. It was the week of Easter because when I went to the ER place, like just our little medical center down there, the lady's like, I know it's Easter and all, but you don't have to try to relate, like nail yourself to a board or anything. And but when I go in there, he's like talking about she goes, great, we'll just add this to the collection. And she pulls down, you guys know those styrofoam coolers, like that you get like just little cheap ones. She pulls down this cooler. That cooler is slammed full of hooks and nails and gaps and all this stuff that they cut out of people down there. I was like, she added it to the collection. I'm looking at that stuff like, man, I got off light just with having a nail in my hand because some of those things, man, it's crazy. Yeah, Ken works as an EMT, so for EMS. So
wow. So what's your what you sell on eBay primarily?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to sell on there?
The easiest thing to list that makes the most money. To be honest.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's kind of where I'm at. I've been fooling with video games a lot. When I first got started, I actually had this massive haul of action figures, and that was awesome. I enjoyed that, like just going through them, taking pictures, and kind of. But I think a lot of it is things that I reminisce on, like those old video game consoles. Like I know this week, I picked up a bunch of those Nintendo Powers, and that's like one of those things you kind of go back and look and say, man, this is the kind of stuff I used to do as a kid. So those are things I enjoy. Like most people, I don't enjoy clothes that much. I have a pile that continues to grow. But yeah.
Yeah, we got a pretty big pile over there now.
Hey, my pile is getting smaller and
smaller.
It
is. She's done listed a lot of it today.
Yeah, when you get yours done, Courtney, you can just come on up here. I got some.
I may have some clothes for a while.
That's funny.
Yeah,
it's whatever he can.
I'm in the same boat.
I think that's like every eBay reseller, whatever will make them money.
Colton, remind everyone they can ship perfume and other liquids first class. Can you?
If they get ground transportation stickers. No kidding.
Hey, that's a good tip. That's a good tip.
Go back to that for a minute.
Hey, Roy.
I had no idea that you could do that. So he's saying Matt had it in his video.
We'll have to go back and watch
that. I had no idea you could do that. I usually, don't tell nobody. I just send it whichever way is cheapest. And cross my fingers usually. I do know some like pressurized stuff you can't. But I didn't know they even had ground stickers for that. I know when I first started eBay, you can go on USPS. Everybody was like, order your priority boxes and all this off USPS. So I got on there and I ordered me some boxes. And then I seen the little fragile stickers. I said, hey, I need them. So I bought them and I was popping them jokers on every package, Right. And I went into the post office and he's like, if you got that on there, we have to charge you extra. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, if you use the fragile post office stickers that require special handling, you get charged additional, and because it requires special handling. But even though we don't special handle these packages, we still charge you. And I said, no kidding. So he took priority tape and covered every one of my stickers up.
Man,
I had no idea they'd even charge you for them. I said, well, they're free, Well,
I do know, if you look in the down further, when you go to print your shipping, I've seen it in there where it says stuff about fragile. Is this fragile, or if it's? Yeah. I've never done that either. I've hand wrote it on there before, and I've stuck stickers. I've never got billed though. I never saw anything different. So
yeah, Nikki T wants to know what's your bread and butter items.
Man, I really wish I had a ton of replenishable stuff, but I really don't. I have a little bit. Bread and butter for me, probably like I said, fastest to list. I list tons of video games all the time. That's probably, even if they're $3-4, I don't care, because it's easy to list, easy to ship. I can flip it all day long. Right. And they sell. They sell on any platform. So those are probably my top bread and butter. But like I said, anything I can get in bulk, I'm down for it. Here lately, I've done a bunch of RA. Colton and these guys, and I haven't put my video out yet where I sent this to them, but they bought something for me, and I shipped it out, and it had Kmart tape on it. So they were asking me about what it was. I got a ton of Kmart tape when they were going out of business, and a ton of RA from there. So there for a while, I was, rolling that RA out, multi-quantity listing stuff. So,
yeah, that Kmart tape, man, we opened it up. It's clear packing tape with Kmart branded,
Yeah.
awesome.
Says don't break the seal or something like that.
Nate's in here every day.
Yeah.
Glad to have you here.
Fragile is French for kick it as hard as you can.
I'm telling you. It's like every package, I get somebody that's dented up and busted up. It's like you seen Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, when he's coming on and he's shaking that package and kicking it down the road. I swear they don't take care of nothing.
I saw a little video the other day of like package handling during Corona, and it had like the guy from Amazon like walking up and like dropping it very gently on the stuff and taking a picture of it and like straightening up stuff on the porch. And then it had like UPS, like the guy basically like kicked the package onto the porch and rolled out. And then it had like USPS. USPS didn't even hardly make it on the porch. They just threw it towards the porch and rolled out. I wonder sometimes, no offense, Joey, if you're watching, but I wonder sometimes, because sometimes I get some returns like, how in the world did that break? Like, there's no way that could break. But
wow.
Yeah, it's one of those.
He said they ordered a mug and it came in pieces. I mailed out some clowns the other day and I got a message saying that one of them broke to pieces. My little creepy clown heads.
And we had them wrapped in air bowls. Westside Gary. He's in here. Hey, Gary.
Yeah, I put I ran across last year because I avoided fragile stuff like the plague. I just I was scared of it, man, to ship it because I was like, dude, I know I'm gonna break it. Even no matter how you pack it, like you know how that stuff gets handled. Like from talking to my post office, like if it's in a box, it's going down that conveyor. So if you got a little box and someone's got a big box, that big box rolling over top of your little box, I mean, it's going to cause some problems.
Guess which one's going to win?
Yeah. So I went to a yard sale, like, man, before all this C-word stuff, when I went to the yard sale, this lady had all these carousel horses, like not monster carousels, but like the ones that are like ceramic or pottery or whatever they're made out of. And so I'm looking at those things, and I went over and looked a couple of them up because she's selling like a house load of stuff. And I was like, man, some of these things are $40-$50. And so I asked her, I was like, she probably had like 25, 30 on the wall. I was like, man, I said, ma'am, what are you taking for these? Like, would you charge for these? And she goes, would you take them all? And I was like, well, if the price is right, I'll take them all. So she said, she goes, well, this ain't all of them. And then she pulled out all these other boxes. She said, I'd do them all for $100. And I was like, oh my, there's probably 50 of those things.
Wow.
So I was like, I said, yeah, I'll do that. Man, I've broke like 6 of them rigs shipping. I tell you, I like this last one I sent out. I wrapped each leg in bubble wrap and taped it. I took the whole thing, wrapped it in bubble wrap to where you could do like Tim says, drop it and see if it bounces, right? It practically did that. I took that and I put the peanuts inside the thing, put it like on a bed of peanuts, put peanuts all around it, double boxed it, still broke. I was like, how's that happen? I don't know. But needless to say, I was like, I guess out of the 50, I probably sold about 35, 40 of them. And like I said, I broke 5 or 6. So.
Yeah. Well, that ain't too bad. I break more than that just moving the inventory around in my shop.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Frank, my eye's better. It's getting there slowly but surely.
My bad. Hey, Kat.
No, it's all right. I can see out of it. So we're all good on that front.
Yeah, your video yesterday, man, was hilarious, dude.
Man.
That thing was cracking me up, man.
When she brought the N64 out, she was supposed to set it at the other end of the table. Yeah. So, like, when I jumped, I was, like, having to grab it all with my left hand and try not to break my neck when I landed,
I was like, man. Yeah.
You
have the blooper reel on that or what?
Man, all one shot. One shot. I wasn't about to do it again.
Well, I thought about diving at the same time he did to make it look more real, but I thought that's just a way for us to hurt each other.
The sad reality the sad reality of this is that video is it's true. I mean, we've been at a yard sale. I've been at a yard sale.
Yeah.
If somebody mentions Nintendo stuff, or if they see your reseller, man, people go crazy out there.
I was at a yard sale yesterday, man, and so I'm at this camera table, and so I'm looking at these cameras, and I kind of got them pulled towards me, the ones that I wanted to look at. And this guy comes over and reaches like past my arm. I was like, whoa, bro, 6 feet, 6 feet. I said, I just started coughing on him. Just back up.
What items do you guys think will be the go-to once the situation calms down? Like video games skyrocketed and puzzled, trying to think what people would want.
Maybe gatherings.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I mean, just the outside thing, I would think anything to do with being out, like some kind of outside activity or something like, maybe for travel or something like that. Because, people are ready to go do something, especially summer's coming too. Like here, we opened up this past week to tourists, to out-of-towners. Man, the beaches are mobbed. Like there's people everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there'll be more like recreational stuff going more. But, however, I don't think stuff's gonna skyrocket, because I think we're just now fixing to start to see the financial impact of the past 4 months, And plus, summer's already a slow, for the majority of sellers, summer's already a slowdown for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So combine the slowdown that we normally see every summer with the financial impacts from the coronavirus, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering is what'll happen. I mean, like you never know what's going to happen with the stimulus stuff, but like even right now with the whole unemployment thing, some people are making more money than they were making on their job with the unemployment. That extra 600 that's kicking in. I was like, man, I mean, I think that's why we're still kind of on the uptick right now, is because I think that's why sales are still good, because people have some, not everybody, but then you think on the stimulus side of things, people that were fine, that didn't lose their job, they still had income coming in. All that's just,
they got that extra money,
extra income. So,
and I know a lot of people's just not starting to get the paper check side of that,
So
we may see a little jump in sales on certain items, but I think overall it's going, kind of backtrack, but I could be completely wrong.
No, Eddie, I don't want your clowns.
I have one wooden one that I got the other day at a sale. I was thinking the same thing. I try to be positive about that, like always, hope for the best, prepare for the worst kind of thing. But, for me, I was thinking too, like maybe some people that have started shopping online, and see the difference with that. I'm hoping that some of those people will retain. I mean, I know, like for me, I think I've been getting a lot of first-time eBayers that are buying stuff from me that wouldn't normally shop online. So maybe it's opened some things up, because there is some convenience to it. Like if you don't need it right now, you can shop and get a little bit better price online and get it delivered to your house.
Yeah, and I have noticed a lot of the prices on things going through the roof.
Ain't no doubt.
Like, y'all see that right there, that JFJ? If y'all haven't priced them things lately, hop on eBay and look them things up. They're normally like $150, okay? Mm-hmm. They're selling anywhere between $300 and $500 used right now.
Yeah.
Crazy what people are paying. And like meat prices, my brother was telling me earlier, up there in Indianapolis, ground beef is like $9.99 a pound.
Yeah,
which brings me to the next topic of price. Tell me that ain't price gouging, and they accuse me of price gouging.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It is one of those things. I mean, it's crazy too, because at one point I sold food. I did go and sell food to restaurants. I did that for about 3.5 years. And, for me, I would see the price of that stuff now. And what happens is anytime anything like this happens, a little blip, then people raise prices on all kinds of stuff. But that price never comes all the way back where it used to be. Like it's one of those things. I mean, I think, we're seeing with gas this big dip, but that ain't going to stay. Like it's going to go back up. It's bound to. But
So Roy said he knows
Which-
some cardboard box suppliers are running low on boxes like 446 and 864. Several
Yeah.
places have 3-week shipping dates. That is true.
bubble
Also,
mailers too.
PFREs, and it took like
Forever.
a month to get here.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I tried to order the bubble mailers like for video games, the ones that I use, like the DVDs and stuff will fit in. Man, I've had to go to like I usually have a couple suppliers I buy them from all the time. They're both out. So I ordered some other ones that were like they felt like paper, like they're so cheap.
Yeah, we ordered some of them in there now, the brown ones. Ain't worth
They're yellow.
Yeah.
Buying Space wants to know what kind of restaurant was it?
Well, I used to sell like to all kinds of restaurants, but I actually owned a Subway for 9 years. So
I worked at a Subway.
yeah, man. I heard you say that one time that you used to. Yeah, my kids, like I said, we used to eat a ton of Subway. That's for sure. That's when they were in school.
Let me tell you my Subway story. When we were down in Freeport, and you're familiar with Freeport.
Yeah.
Grew up. They got the right on the corner there at the 331 20 junction. There's a Subway there on the corner next to
Cash's.
Cash's liquor store. And this was the middle of March, right as the Corona thing was on the uptake. So I go in there to get us a sandwich, and this lady, I walked in the door, and she's standing there at the counter, and she's, her nose is pouring, she's coughing, and I'm already like, okay, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to because I'm starving. And she asked me what I want and everything. She starts making my sandwich, and she pulls it down the line, starts making Courtney sandwiches, and she stops halfway through, standing over my food, pulls her gloves off, blows her nose over the sandwiches, didn't wash her hands or nothing, and reached right back into food and starts making a sandwich. I said, hey, I got to go. I said, we're about to have that up in here.
And gee, man,
that ruined Subway from then out. No more Subway for this guy.
Well, there's a lot of them I want to eat at, especially after having one and knowing like kind of the behind the scenes stuff. Like I walk in ones. I'll give you a hint. If the glass is dirty,
don't eat there.
Got to go. If you see like food in different cameras, get out of there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Go get something else. That's the one thing about Subway. You see it. You see it.
Yeah, I mean, they're right there in front of you doing it.
Of course, after selling food, and then prior to that, I worked for a Flowers Baking Company for a long time. Like I was an ops manager, used to go in restaurants all the time. So I tell my family all the time, the first place you go in a restaurant is the bathroom. If the bathroom's filthy, the kitchen's filthy. It's just how it is. So one of those things.
Yeah,
she won't drink out of a glass without a straw. Yeah, don't blame me.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Nothing weird with that, Nikki.
So, how long have you been selling on eBay? You may have said it when you first started.
Yeah, late September this past year was really I've sold a couple things like years ago, but it was a long time ago. And but I got back into it. Like I said, that September I started listing that stuff for LuLaRoe, and then literally my first garage sale to flip. I went in and saw my very first video, which I was telling somebody a while back. I was like, if you feel bad about your YouTube channel, like go look at someone's first video, and then you'll start feeling better about your efforts. So my very first video, which is terrible quality, but I have this video. It's called Marvel Haul, and Marvel Haul I went to this yard sale, and I walked in there. It's a guy that had a warehouse full of stuff. It wasn't his stuff, so he's not personally attached to it. And we walk in there, and I looked, and he had totes of Marvel action figures, like totes of them, and our buckets, as you would say. So he had these things, man, and I picked up the very first one, and that thing was $45. It was a Juggernaut, like Build-A-Figure, and I was like, man. So I looked at that guy. I said, hey, how much are you selling these things for? And he's like, he goes, how many you want? And I was like, I said, well, what would 2 totes of these cost? He's like, $20. I was like, what would all of them cost? He's like, he said 45. I was like, good. And so,
man, that's an awesome score.
I went home and started listing that stuff, and it was selling like crazy because Marvel's hot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like them putting them movies out, that's the greatest resurgent of that stuff. X-Men, Marvel, all that kind of stuff. That stuff is crazy good. And so those action figures. And Marvel's genius too. I mean, for you guys that aren't toy guys and don't know anything about that, but Marvel created Build-A-Figures. So a Build-A-Figure is every pack that you buy, every figure you buy has a part of another figure. And to get that figure, you have to buy 8 or 9 of those
all in the run, and then you put that together
to get that one. So it creates a demand, and it also, if you get that figure, that dude's worth some money. So like that Juggernaut was worth 45, but dude, I got a Galactus. That dude was $125. And like, so those were like figures I sold right out of the gate. Then if you have that Build-A-Figure and you have all the characters that go with it, these are loose figures, not in the box.
Yeah.
Right. And if you have the character to go with it, then that's big money, man. It's like I sold one like $250 one set. So
wow. I know right now we're getting at the end of it, the time frame for it, but Walgreens around, February, they run all their Marvel figures, all their, that kind of stuff. All, 50% off some of them buy one, get one 50% off. And if you go in there and you hit enough of them, you can find some good money out of them figures at Walgreens. Yeah. And we did that last year. We were running after the Fantastic Four series.
Yeah.
Like the Thing, and he's still good on eBay if you can find him.
Right.
Bizarro went crazy.
Yep. And when Bizarro, they released the blue Spider-Man figure for Walgreens, and when they released him, he was going for great money on eBay and Amazon.
Yeah, and some of those things, man, like I've sold the pieces, the Build-A-Figure pieces. I sold a leg to the like Hulkbuster, which is like the Iron Man Hulk. I sold a leg to that dude for $25.
Nice.
I was like, just a leg. Like you wouldn't think anything of it, but that stuff can bring value. And Walgreens too. I've done some RA at Walgreens. Like after Christmas, yeah, you can kill it in there.
Yeah,
for sure. After any holiday,
I love Walgreens. I love Walgreens. I just like to look at their toys.
I love it, man. They here recently at our Walgreens. Do you drink Arizonas? Like you ever drink Arizonas? Nah, because you're from the South.
I've tried them, but I don't like them.
So there's an Arizona Energy. It's like it's called Energy Tonic, but it's not like souped up with all the caffeine. So I love that. It has like kind of a tropical flavor to it. And dude, so Walgreens had like 50-cent sale. Those guys ordered me a case of those things because that's where I drop my FedEx packages all the time. So like they see me in there all the time. So it's like dual purpose. Go in and source and do all that kind of stuff. Mickey T, yep. When in doubt, part it out.
Yep. I've been watching Roy at Arcade Treasure Center. He got me looking at them cookie presses. He's selling like the tubes for the cookie press, the ends, the little plates. I had no idea that you could part out a cookie press.
Yeah, what is it? Those super shooter things?
Yeah, like the little gun things.
Yeah, I saw that on Kevin OBX Picker. Like he's the one that first. I actually picked one of them rigs up. I think I've got it priced too high because the box was kind of in bad shape. But I haven't sold mine yet. But I probably need to go back in and readdress that. Because it's just sitting on a shelf right now. So, yeah.
I should probably start parting more stuff out than I do. I got a bad habit. If I'll pick up something, if it ain't really worth it or it's broke, I just throw it away.
Dude, Kevin does that with Commonwealth. I mean, that's where that's who I've heard say that all the time, when it out, part it out. But
yeah.
So new wave ovens, like the dome for them, like those things are valuable. Some like exercise equipment that he takes apart pieces of it off. I'm like, that's crazy, man. I would never even think to do that stuff either. Like
he'll even sell like a checker piece, at a time.
Yeah.
And he's
getting I have done that with games.
Piece for him.
Yeah, I have done that with games. I actually some of like, how you have the clues and the monopolies that have like unique pieces.
Yeah.
Those things will sell. Sometimes they sell more than what the game's worth. Like crazy. If you were going to sell the whole game.
blades of salad machines and choppers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually had no idea about like salad spinners. Those things, I mean, some of them things are expensive.
If you find the choppers, though, watch your fingers.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Rev's got the commercial out on that Veggie stuff.
Yeah, I know. He said, "You look like this, get a Veggie." He sucked it all in. That was hilarious.
I was like, man, I might need a double portion of those.
Send me all you got.
Yeah. One of those things.
That's funny.
It is.
Don't forget you're in a man. Yeah, I got me one right up there somewhere.
Yeah, mine's sitting there on my shelf. That's for sure. Yeah, Kevin's one of the guys he was one of the original guys I started watching too. Like I watched Cincinnati Picker, and then some reason I saw him in the chat and like clicked on there. Because too, like I know what area he's from over there too. I've been over there quite a bit. But like I was like, yeah, I like people that bring something to the table, you know, that I can learn something while I'm there.
I do too. I like to watch you know, people that you can tell are genuine. You know, whether that's one thing I like about watching you. I can tell you're in front of the camera, you're the same off the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you've got to fake it, like honestly, at some point you're going to lose your motivation. I've watched some guys. It's so funny. Like I've watched some guys, and I'm not going to name drop or anything like that, but I've watched some guys that are like super hype. When you're watching their actual videos, like they're super like jacked up, and then when you watch them on lives or when you watch them outside of that, it's not the same personality. It's different, you know. And I was like, we all have ups and downs, and obviously you can edit what you're putting in your video, but for me, man, if I gotta get up for it, like I would just soon show you the real, because I don't want people. I fell for a bunch of infomercials when I was a kid, you know, like when I was young, and now that I'm a lot older, a little wiser, I'm like, man, you know, for me, I don't want to be like saying, hey, you know, this is what it is, because there's bumps in the roads for sure when it comes to reselling.
Yeah, and then there's even more bumps whenever you film it. Callie Picker says that's called cocaine. All the ups or the downs, whichever.
Yeah. It's one of those things. You see the, you know, and obviously we all have things that we've run into. Like I've messed up on shipping before and been like, dude, I just paid for this guy to get this item. Like I paid more in shipping. I had that little glitch on my phone for a little bit that I weren't double checking. And, you know, there's a few times that I did that. There's, you know, various things, bad buying, like all the rest of it.
I've had that happen, and I don't think it's where you don't check it. I think eBay's got a glitch, because I know for a fact certain items had calculated shipping on, and then all of a sudden it sells free shipping, and I'm like, ugh.
That happens a lot with clothes.
So now I've started, like every other day, I'll do a screen recording on my phone, like through my store of all my new listings, just so I can keep track of it.
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, what I was kept doing is if I didn't click the shipping last, it would default it back. Like say if I went in and set the shipping earlier, and then I went back and looked at something else, then it would default it back to free shipping. Like that's what I was having happen on mine. And I know there was a couple times that I was saying, man, I don't know if that's what it is or what it's not.
It's been happening to a lot of people. I know that, whatever it is, you know, maybe a mixture of both. I don't know.
It's crazy. I mean, there was a time where I was contemplating just doing free shipping, but one of the problems with living where I live, and I know you guys probably have some of this too, but dude, if I ship to the West Coast from where I'm at, I'm as far east as it gets.
Yep.
So, I mean, you're talking like a serious difference in price.
And if you put free shipping on, you can bet your money 9 out of 10 of them packages going to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, then you'd have to price it up. You'd be in the same boat.
Yeah. Well, that and like some of the pros and cons to free shipping, you know, if say you sell a shirt and you mail it all the way out there, and then they say it don't fit me and they send it back, if I do free shipping, I got to refund him everything. If I do paid shipping, I don't have to refund him that shipping until I get him there. You know, I'm not out that $4, $5, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So Retired Good Time says, I want to start videos because it seems to increase sales. I always hear you guys say that purchases come from viewers. Not always.
But we do get some viewer sales.
We do.
And we're very grateful for the viewer sales. Now, when we started this, and one reason we share our store, we don't share our store for viewer sales.
Yeah.
I share my store so people can double check what I'm telling you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to come on here and say, hey, I sold this bottle of hand sanitizer for $150, and you just take my word for it. You know, if you really want to know, you can look at my solds in my store to see if that's really what I sold. But now, I do like people that share their store because I like to go on people's stores and buy stuff.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, you know, show a little support for them. And it brings another thing whenever I can watch a video and see where that item come from, you know.
Yeah, you'd have never saw any Kmart tape if you didn't do that.
Yeah, I know. And that made my day.
I opened the package. The first thing I said was, what's with the Kmart tape? What'd you order?
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I was like one of those things. You know, I've never had anybody else comment on it, but like I said, I don't talk to anybody else. I think I've only had one other viewer sale at this point. You know, for me, the viewer sale thing, I mean, yeah, you're gonna see Matt and John and Lonnie and all those guys get tons of viewer sales, but you gotta think, I mean, John's got over 100,000 subscribers, so like for him to have a viewer sale every day, that's not a big deal. Like if you're down where we're at, like you're not, I mean, that's not as regular as what you think, you know. I mean, there are times that people do it, but
the more subscribers, probably the more sales you would have.
Yeah, it's a larger pool. It's like everything else.
Yeah.
So the more people that are seeing your stuff, the more, you know.
But we have started too trying to double down on that and kind of not. I don't want to say take advantage of it, but we want to turn. I heard somebody on a video say it the other day. They want to turn eBay buyers into YouTube viewers and YouTube viewers into eBay buyers.
Yeah.
We started putting our YouTube channel on every card we send out with every eBay package in hopes that that person that got that package will say, hey, let me check this out one day when they're sitting around bored, pull up our channel. And then they see all the stuff we have. Maybe they'll see something else that they were going to buy anyway. But now that they've kind of connected with us through YouTube, they may purchase it from us. And now they're watching our YouTube channel for one and maybe buying something else from us too, you know?
Yeah.
And
it is good, man. I mean, I think you guys were, I mean, I know that you were in there. I don't know if you guys were still in there when we were talking about this on our show the other night, about how, you know, some people have this stigma, like they're scared to tell anybody that they're reselling, like, or they're scared to share that part of it. But honestly, for me, I've had a far more good come out of sharing it than has come in negative about it. You know, like the whole thing, even with YouTube and you know, sharing what you're doing with that, or sharing. I was kind of nervous, honestly, to put my stuff out there, like on my regular social media, and say, hey, this is what I'm doing now, guys. Like, you know, because people do have different stigmas. Like, oh, like I didn't want to get one of those Southern compliments of bless your heart.
Yeah, poor little thing. You sell it on eBay, bless your heart.
Yeah, so it's one of the things. But I tell you, man, I did finally do that. I finally shared it out there, and man, I mean, I had tons of people watching my stuff, and I've got messages, and I've had pics as a result of that.
Well, the thing about it is, the people that says bless your heart, or you sell on eBay, they don't understand how much work it actually is.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, it is a grueling work.
Yeah. I mean, you work harder at that than anything. Janet, I live in Wanchese, North Carolina, which is on Roanoke Island on the Outer Banks. So if you Google it, that's how you say it too, Wanchese, not Wankees or one cheese or whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I was the same way when we first started reselling, you know, associating that stigma with it. But now I just don't care. I tell you, if I'm at a yard sale, 99% of the time if they ask, I'm selling it online.
Well, I'll just tell you a little example for me. So I went to a yard sale. This is, like I said, before all this happened. We occasionally have a nice weekend here, and so went to a yard sale. I get there, and I'm looking at stuff, and it's like one of them kind of fancier yard sales, like everything's put out, like it almost looks like a store. And I was like, oh man, I'm probably not gonna be able to find much here. And I got in there and I was looking a couple things up, and the lady's like, well, what exactly are you looking for? It's 3 older ladies. Come to find out, they're pickers, all 3 of them. And they're like, what exactly are you looking for? I said, I'll be honest with you, I'm looking for anything I can sell on eBay. And they're like, that's what you do? And they're like, well, look this up. Like they kept pulling stuff. Before I left there, man, I had twice as much as what I originally was looking for. She turned me on to these toasters that were like from the 50s. Mm-hmm. Dude, I made like $45 a piece on those 2 toasters. Nice. Like I would have never got that. I would have never gave it the second look because I just thought it was a cheap toaster. Like when I'm walking by, I didn't pay no mind to it because I was like, I ain't selling no toaster or whatever. Like, I'm looking for certain things. But the lady chased me down, and then she's following me down the driveway like, well, what about this? Like, and she'd bring me something else. I'm like, man. Awesome. So it's one of the things. I did call my buddy Ken later because that was actually his first yard sale. I was like, hey, you should go by here. These people will help you. They'll help you find something. You ain't got to worry about doing that. But yeah. I find that's the case more times than not. I mean, my thrift stores all know that I resell, and a couple of them, man, they've got it where I'm like, hey, when I roll in, like I went into Mitchen's Thrift, which is on my video the other day. Hey, they watched my YouTube channel. They wanted to be on my YouTube channel. That's why I put them in there. And then they're like, so the other day, they're like, we got a couple things back here for you. You might want to take a look at these. I was like, sweet. So, I mean, they're actually making my job a little bit easier.
Yeah, you tell people what you do, make those connections.
Yeah.
Matthew says he was thinking that it would be, good to put it on YouTube, but he was afraid if they hear you got it for $1 and sold it for 20 to them, they may feel a certain way. Yeah, I was too, and I actually had a comment the other day on YouTube from a guy who bought something from me on eBay, seen my card and looked up my channel and left me a comment. And he said, hey, I'm the one that bought those floppy disks from you. I had no idea about reselling, been loving this channel. So, I mean, I'm hoping in this instant that, that stigma may outweigh the good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just
got to. I think it makes a difference, too, because, like, I mean, I know you guys share a little bit, too, about what you sold and how much you sold. And, I mean, most people are like, kind of have a stigma one way or another, like you're either bragging about that. But like I tell the people that ask me about reselling, I was like, yeah, it's good. But, I mean, just because I sold something for $40 don't mean I made $40. Like, I might have made $10. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things you kind of got to know.
Well, I mean, it don't matter if you buy it off of eBay or you go to Walmart. Everything's marked up.
Everybody's got a markup.
You know what
Most
I mean?
people have numerous markups. I mean, there's usually 4 people in it before you get it that have made money off of it. So it's one of those things. I mean, I feel like if people buy your stuff and they were happy enough with it to buy it for a price, then what does it matter what you sell it for, to be honest? Like,
exactly.
You always have a choice whether to buy it or not. And, most of the time, even with us, they have a choice to return it or not. if they get it and it's not what they thought it was. I wish that was the case on a lot of other things that we bought, but it's not.
Yeah.
Janet, I've been selling since the end of September. So.
And now he's addicted and can't quit.
I know. All it takes is one good flip. All it takes is one good flip, and you're in.
There you go, Roy.
That's the way to go, man. I got a buddy of mine working on some shirts myself. Like
no kidding.
Trying to get something going.
Yeah, I need to get with Roy about getting one of his RK Treasure Center shirts.
There you go. Yeah, you might as well wear a sign.
Yeah, no kidding.
What you got?
I sell on eBay. What you got, I can make some money on. Generally, if people ask what I buy, I'll say that. I'll say, well, if it's selling on eBay for 100, I'll give you 40%. You know, and it's worked a lot.
Yeah.
Tell them YouTube famous. They should give me a good deal.
Yeah, one of the things. Well, it is one of the things too. Like, everybody wants to be on TV anyway. Like, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I think sometimes if you were to go and talk to you, like after doing my missions thrift haul, I actually have. It's funny. Like with a lot of our thrift stores out here, I have a good relationship with them. So I was actually thinking about just going to each thrift store and kind of ask them, hey, do you guys want to give a little plug for your thrift store? And I put it there on it because after doing that with Mission, dude, like I'm in like Flynn there with those guys.
Yeah.
Like they're and actually what's real curious with those guys is the guy who's that was his wife that was on camera, the redheaded lady, but the other guy, it's him and his wife that own the place. He does all the pickups and that kind of stuff, but he's a big reseller. Like he used to do a lot with Amazon. I'm to the scale of like a Resell Rabbit, if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
Buying stores out and stuff. I mean, that's huge. So
Yeah, it is.
He's actually told me some things. Like he's kind of gave me some advice about some things with reselling. So
yeah, he buys all kinds of stuff. Sonny's in here. Yeah. Good to have you. And he sells a lot of clothes. I don't know how he does it.
You either got to like it, man. I mean, it's like everything else. I think you got to like it.
Yep.
Us T-shirt and jeans guys, we like I'm dressed up for church with my collared shirt.
like we're the least fashionable people they are. I mean, we buy Walmart clothes and we wear them out.
Yeah. Yeah, I find a lot of stuff at the thrift myself, but it's one of those things. The only thing I pay up for a little bit of shoes, but
and then let's click on this.
Markups.
Janet says, I think a lot of buying from resellers is the same as buying from your favorite boutique. If you have a good relationship with the reseller, you want to support that store. Yeah, I mean, that's basically really what it comes down to. 100% accurate. Huh? Yeah, see that one. Markups, does that mean everybody is price gouging? Someone was talking about the term. Sort of agree with them. The word price gouging. Dude, don't give me price gouging. Should not exist. That's the reason we have a free market. Okay, supply and demand all the way around. It don't matter what it is. They're right now selling ground beef for $9.99 a pound and ribeye steaks for $30 a pound. Whenever last week they were $4.99 a pound and $14.99 a pound, all because of the meat shortage. Well, I mean, when something comes in, the supply of it goes down. What's going to happen? The price is going to go up. It don't matter what if you pick up something at a garage sale for a quarter. The market price is the market price regardless. I mean, it's what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand economics. I mean, it's just like the guys that are screaming about wanting minimum wage to be $25 an hour. Like, dude, you're gonna spend $100 at McDonald's if that's the case. Like, I mean, that's what's going to happen. Either that or it's going to be automated.
Got to come from somewhere,
Yeah, I mean, like and most people in the reselling community, like if you're getting into this thing any more than like selling like $100 or something, you're going to start to have the mindset of a business owner. The business owner is the less you spend. I mean, everything you save drops to your bottom dollar, to your bottom line.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you've got to. I mean, you can't. I always said, don't be penny wise and dollar dumb, but you definitely have to like keep an eye on what you're doing. So like if I paid somebody to come in and list for me and I paid them half of what I'm listing that item to, well, that'd be stupid on my part because I'll be out of business. Like I'll be shut down. So you gotta kind of know that it's one of those things. I mean, I think everything. I mean, like Callie's saying that, fake news, no meat shortage. I think that happens a lot of times. Like I said, when I sold food, once the price went up, it was slow going back down. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's like switches right now. How much is switches selling for? Look at like Wii Sports. I mean, that game has been holding steady. Usually disc only $12 to $15. Now you can sell it for like $25.
Yeah.
It's just the people's deciding what the market's doing.
So, Eric, are you telling me if I come list some clothes for you, I'm not going to get a decent amount of money?
I give you a vacation to the beach. I'll give you a vacation to the beach, right? We have a 4-bedroom house. You guys can come and hang out on the beach, get cooked.
All for it.
Yeah. You can get fried. Bring your aloe plant.
More pay means more responsibility in my book. Watch what you ask for. I've not complained about my full-time job pay since I started reselling. I make thousands more than my company pays me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's one of them things. I mean, I think it's, you just got to be wise with your business. And as far as flipping stuff and, marking it up, I try to be, I actually mark my stuff up a little bit higher than an average because I know I'm going to send out a best offer. I mean, I know that's going to happen more times than not. Like if somebody's watching it, I'm sending it out and, so then I'm hitting back where I should be, as far as the medium. Yeah. Free at me.
Yeah. Let's see. What was Frank's? Minimum can't raise that much. Yeah. It would put it, if the minimum wage went up that high, man, it would be a horrible.
Yeah. I mean, the price of everything would just go up. I mean, that's basically
inflation.
Kat, do you really need a beach vacation? You're at Florida. I mean, how much more beach do you need?
She lives between 2 beaches, right?
Yeah, I mean, she can go whichever she wants.
Yeah.
Sonny's in Vegas. He has more supply of culling, so he gets the good stuff.
He says, hold on, click that. It would be cool if there was a reseller convention with tips. They actually have, they used to, like the eBay Open and ASD up in Vegas and all kinds of things like that. They had some other kinds of meetups too. They should require high schoolers to take economics to learn the supply and demand curve. Yep.
I agree with that total. When I was in school, they did still do that, man. It was home economics was more than just bacon. They taught you how to balance your checkbook. They taught you how to balance your checkbook. They taught you about taxes, like how that worked. Like that's how my home ec teacher was.
There's a lot of people that don't know what checks are now.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, Harry. You know what I'm going to do there? The next giveaway I'm giving away is on watch time, not on subs. Because I figured out the subs is the easy thing to get. The watch time's the one that's tough.
Dapper Tiger says he reinvests all his profits into gummy worms.
Hey, gummy worms are awesome.
That's it.
Cat needs a vacation.
Cat, man, I don't know what you'd do if you went on vacation. You'd have to hire 5 people to take your place while you're gone.
That's funny. Do you miss Florida?
Yes and no.
Yeah, I can't.
That's simple.
I can't say yes and I can't say no. I'm happy where I'm at right now. I miss the beach, but I hate the beach. Love-hate relationship. I thought he was frozen. So Roy, not Roy. What was he saying right there?
Which one?
Roy.
So
Eric, what would be if you could go back and tell yourself something in September about selling online? What would you tell yourself?
Man, do more research. Like honestly, like learn a little bit more. Obviously you make some bad buys right out of the gate. But I'll be honest with you guys, I took some bad advice going in. Got banned from Amazon because I was doing the wrong thing. Basically, I picked up some retail arbitrage and had no way to prove that it was authentic. Got inauthenticity claims and got the boot. Been off ever since. So I had spent a lot of time trying to work it in that direction. And then I had to completely shift gears. So in that time frame, I probably lost a few $100, by not being as educated. But the other thing is, just go out and make better decisions as far as, a lot of these guys that are on YouTube that are just putting out content, but not really resellers. You kind of got to be aware of that. Or like we shared in our reseller roundtable with Omar that night about, there's times when you're getting a bolo and it's not a bolo. It's it's we've already bought that all out, but you're
Right.
welcome to go try it.
Good luck finding it.
Yeah, or you're going to find it. But I mean, keep in mind, even with like I've sold some clearance from Walmart, and you can do that, and there is some money to be made there, but it's all about timing.
Right.
And
100%.
so, like, I mean, just for instance, like my Walmart has tons of phone cases on sale there all the time. You see them. Every Walmart in the country has those same phone cases on sale. So, like, if you pick all that up, you've either got to wait it out, or you better be the first one in and out.
Right.
Because if you're not ready to go big into something like that, then you can't afford to wait it out. You know, you can't afford to. So it's one of those things.
That brings up huge advice people need to hear is if you're starting out reselling and you don't have the capital, do not start looking to Amazon, because Amazon, you don't want to go to thrift stores and buy stuff to sell on Amazon, because something could happen like what happened to Eric. You get an inauthenticity claim, you have no way to prove that item's real, and they're going to kick you off the platform. I mean, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Amazon, you're looking at your profits on items are going to be lower. You're not flipping $100, garage sale items. You're making 10-15% per item, but the volume you're selling on Amazon is so much more than what you're selling on eBay.
Yeah.
And you got to have good records as far as that goes. But you can't go thinking I'm going to spend $10 at Walmart on this one item, send it into Amazon and make, 100% ROI on that. I mean, it's just not going to, 90% of the time it's not going to happen. Yeah. Amazon's more of a volume game than selling the one-off. So you got to have a lot of capital when you go into Amazon to be able to move a lot of product to make 10-12% per item. You know what I mean? So you got to look at, should I jump into Amazon now? I'm just starting out. I don't have the capital. Or should I stick to garage sales and selling one-offs on eBay,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's the deal. Like, one of the things, like when you see people sharing, like, I mean, say us, just for example, like, I mean, you'll see on my channel things that I've sold. And when I'm showing you something that I've sold, like most of what you're seeing is one-off stuff. Like, I mean, if you find it, like you can flip it for the same amount. Like, I'm not going to tank the market on my stuff for one. For two, like most of that stuff, you're not going to find it every day. Like, I mean, I found a whole bag of Nintendo Power books the other day. Dude, that's the first time I've seen them things since I was, in college age. Like I was like, I don't see that every day in the thrift store. I don't see that at a yard sale every day. So if you find it, man, great. You can sell it and make money, but it's not something you could base your whole business on. Is that, man, I'm just going to sell Nintendo Powers. That's what I'm going to do.
That tangent I went on a while ago, what I was trying to bring it around to, but I kind of lost myself in, is Walmart clearance.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with that, because it is clearance and everywhere. Yeah. So if you can't get it and sell it as soon as it hits clearance, it's going to be sitting on your shelf until all these other people that's fine making 5-10% on the item is gone, and then you can bring the price will rebound back up to what it should be. Get your price,
Mm-hmm.
And it can take a year and a half for that to happen, depending on the item and how much was out there. So
yeah, I mean,
that's a risky business. I mean,
yeah. And that's the thing, is if you don't have the capital to wait it out, I mean, you're best to honestly, like you said, I mean, you're best to stick to, I mean, and that kind of gets back to our original question. If I'd have known then what I know now, I mean, that's everybody. Like it takes time to learn things, but I would have never started on the path of Amazon. I would have looked to bring that in my business later on. I would have said, man, I'm going to concentrate on learning eBay and getting good at that. And then I've got a place then that if I go into Amazon, I get hung with a product, then I can flip it over here and at least get my money back, or maybe a little bit more.
We feel, me and Courtney feel, we started Amazon too early, in the sense of we couldn't get enough product in to make it worth our while. I mean, we're selling stuff like crazy, but we're only making 15% on it,
Yeah.
And the problem that became the issue. We didn't know what to buy, but starting it early actually helped us out. I wasn't buying stuff. I was scanning everything I could get my hands on. Yeah. And that in turn helped me out the fall. I said, okay, I can't buy this product this year. I can't afford it. But I know now this product goes on clearance at this time. I know if I get it, and then 2 months from now, what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So then next year comes around, that product's going to do the exact same thing. So now we know we can buy heavy in this product, put a bunch of money into it, and then within 2 months, we're going to see a nice return on it from us starting early. Even though we didn't have money to buy it then, we were able to learn from that for the following year. You know.
Matthew wants to know, how often do you send out offers, and for how long it sits or whatever you want to sell?
I send out an offer every day. To be honest, like it was like every day. I actually I tend to do just like 10% off because, like I said earlier, I price to make up the difference most of the time. I try to be just a little bit above the middle. So if I drop it 10%, it's not a big deal. So every night I hit the button every night. I send out offers to all watchers at 10% off. That's what I do. Yeah. Like there's some nights that I'll miss it just because didn't get to it or, went to bed and I'm like, dude, I'm not getting back up to go get on the computer. I'll just hit them up in the morning. But a lot of times then I'll send it out twice a day, just depending on the number of watchers. I try to do occasionally I will. If it's an item that's older and I see it pop up that I've got a watcher, I'll send that out right now because I'm wanting to get rid of it. And I might do a little bit better than 10%, but that's what I do.
The way me and Courtney do it is we all the time run a sale on our eBay store. So I price all my items like 35% higher than what I'm wanting. Run a 30% off sale, and then offers. Usually whenever I get about where I can send out 75 at one time, it'll pop up, you can send out 75 offers. When we hit 75, that's whenever I'll do the offers usually. And then we usually just do like 5% off. But if you click on somebody's listing, you'll notice you ain't even got to watch it to get that offer back to you. Because I know I've sent offers to my brother, and he wasn't even watching my item, But in the little message thing, you can type whatever you want in it. And I've been playing around with that little messaging part of the offer. And so sometimes you can word stuff in there to make it help out, say you're a small business or something to that sort. And also, we've decided to do the offers. It's best for us, we've seen not to do them early in the morning. We usually wait till about 6 p.m. Central in the evening time because that's generally when most people are sitting around at home and they got the free time to be able to do something about that offer,
Janet wants to know, do you put your inventory on credit cards?
I don't. Only because when I was younger, I had problems with credit cards. So I don't. Only way I would is, the only way I'd suggest for you to do it, if you're getting money back on your credit card, and if you pay it off every time, don't let it accrue. Because once you start letting it accrue, then it's just like everything else. It's just like your eBay bill. Like pay your eBay bill on a weekly basis versus like waiting to the end of the month. Because the first month that your sales jump, you're going to be shook.
It's going to hit you. It's going to hit you hard.
Yeah. That first one I got that was over $900, I was like, holy cow.
He wants to know, did you charge him 35% more on that Xbox cord?
Yes, 100%. If you would have waited 15 more minutes, you could have got it 35%. No, it was on sale.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Don't return it. I don't want to re-inventory it.
Yeah. How many items do you average in your store? Is Debbie Rex. For me, I've been teetering around the 700 mark. I actually just pushed up to about 725, 725. So, but I can't, there for the while, I couldn't break the 700. I'd get right above it and then I'd go back down, get right above it, go back down.
Well, that's a good problem to have because that means you sell,
Yeah. Yeah. But it's one of those things for me. I'll just tell you, like with the whole listing thing. So listing is the part of our jobs as resellers that everybody, like that's the least favorite thing we got to do most of the time is to list. But I watched, I don't know if you guys ever watched Pro Solo Flipper. Like I don't watch his stuff all the time, but I've watched a couple of his videos, and I was watching one of his videos one day and he was talking about like he was pushing to get to 1,500 items because of the eBay algorithm that no one really knows what it is. But what he was saying that his sell-through rate, he's tracked it over the years selling. He sells through 1% of his inventory every day. That's the average. So that's what he's saying.
That's fairly common along a lot of categories, clothing, shoes. I mean, some things are going to do better than others, some things worse than others.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Kat say that she's anywhere from like 0.5% to 0.75. I'm probably closer to the 0.75 only because I sell a lot of video games and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing it comes down to is the more lines you got in the ocean, the more fish you catch.
Yep. And so for me, like I've set some of my own goals. I mean, I'm pushing to the 1K. That's where I'm getting, geared up to do, is to get to that point. And to do that, so if I'm selling right now at 700, if I'm averaging 7 items a day, that means, dude, I need to be listing about at least double that every day to get to where I can make some traction. Because what I was talking about with Pro Solo Flipper was, he was talking about his goal is to list 15 items a day. So he said out of 15 items a day, he said, now I do that Monday through Friday, 15 items a day. He said for him, he's going to sell 2 items out of those 15 within the first day or two, within the first 24 hours most of the time. And I've noticed that in my own stuff. Like if I list 10 items, I'll sell 1 of those within a couple of days. And then he was saying, like, then you've got like the next week that you may sell 2 more items out of there. And then the following week you sell 1. So, I mean, if you're constantly doing that, the more items you're putting in, the more people are selling. I mean, it's just common sense. Like you said, the more stuff you got sitting in your store, the more likely someone's going to buy it. I mean, that's common. Is that my mic kicking, guys?
I don't hear anything.
No, that may have been me.
We're in this little tiny space here in our
I heard a little buzz. So, I mean, that's the thing. So if you can work up to, boosting your sales and, not just boosting it to get a number, but obviously putting in good inventory.
Right. That's the big thing. Because I noticed here since I started YouTube, right after we started, this pandemic kicked in. And like every other reseller, we're, not able to go to the thrifts. We're not able to go to the in-person auctions or RAing. So, I mean, we've been scratching the bottom of the barrel now for 4 months. All we got is cheap junk, mostly. So, I mean,
it's sales. It's just
you got to get it up there, and do what you got to do. But the goal of everybody should be to lower the amount of items they have listed, raise the amount of items that are selling along with the average selling price of those items, because you want to do less work and make more money.
Yeah.
And it's easier said than for me to sit here and say that, but you go out trying to find $100 profit item every day at a thrift store, it's nearly impossible.
Matthew wants to know if you take out a loan to stock on merchandise and stuff.
I haven't. I haven't at this point. All I'm doing is reinvesting.
We almost did though this year, but the pandemic kind of took out the deal we were working on. I would only take it out if 100% you can get it back within, before you get buried. Yeah,
for me, what I do is like before all this hit, we were actually already starting to get a few yard sales. And so basically my thrifting schedule, like usually I will go about 3 days a week and do that. And then on Saturdays, me and my wife will go yard sailing. And we basically, it's weird. We talk about up the beach. So it's about 45 minutes to get to where the Walmart is, which is the north end of our beach. And then there's about 8 thrift stores on the way back home. So we'll yard sale all the way up and thrift all the way back on Saturdays. And we just take out, like what I'll do on a Saturday is I'll take out a certain amount of cash and be like, okay, this is today. This is what we got. So unless I hit like a home run, then obviously I'm going to scramble and get it. But, for me, I'm looking at that. Some days I come home with cash. Some days I have to go to the bank. But that way I've got a good idea where I'm at, is like, this is what I've got, unless I find a home run. Because then what I'll start doing is, to keep myself in check, I'll look and say, well, I hit a couple home runs here, and on the way home, I'm not going to worry about the lower profit items. I'm going to kind of bypass them this time. But if I haven't bought much that day, honestly, I will. I'll stock up on bread and butter and spend what I got to get to that point. But I think you need to set up some type of budget, and then keep yourself in check. Like, I used to talk about with guys going to the casino, right? The smart guys brought cash in their pocket and left their cards at home. And they spent what they got, and then they went home. And for us, especially when you're first starting out, it's important that you establish some kind of budget, because if you're not careful, because buying's addicting, we know it all is. I mean, like I say, for me, if I see something good, dude, like I tell people all the time, I can't help myself. I bought stuff that is still sitting in my pile of death that I haven't messed with, that I was like, at the time, I was like, dude, this is a great deal. I got to get it. And, for us, if you're just starting out, I mean, if you've been doing this for a while, it's still important to keep a budget, but you can take it. You've got a little bit more room to play with, than what you would. But it's one of those things. Like, I think you got to be guarded in what you spend. I wouldn't get in a bunch of credit card debt for sure, because, man, that's a way to be out of the reselling. You'll be reselling your house, like, because that's the stuff you got to be careful with.
Yeah, it's important whenever you're starting out and you're on a budget and you only got, say, $20 one weekend to spend, is to look up all you can and know your sell-through rates. How fast is it going to take me to make double to make my money back? Because, I mean, if you go out and you buy a piece of Lou the Row clothing because you've been watching Redneck Resale talk about how good it is, and you go out and buy a piece, that thing may not sell for 3 years. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you've got to look at what's selling and what you can, if you can afford to have it sitting for so long.
Yeah, it is. It is one of those things. I mean, like I said, that there are investments that I've made into my business. Outside of that, I mean, if you're brand new, dude, invest on a good scale. That's something you need. Like, obviously all your packing material, you need that. You can't operate without it. That's the kind of stuff that you got to look at is, do I have money left for that? Or are you just, I mean, if you're not treating it as a business and it's just a hobby for you, that's fine. But don't be complaining if you're not making any money at it, because if you're not treating it like a business, then that's the thing you have to do.
Yeah.
But and I mean, most of us, I know for myself, I'm not independently wealthy. Like, I'm not just going out here doing this for fun. I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it, but I got to keep the lights on at the house,
Right. Reselling's one of the things you got to have a passion for it.
Yeah.
If you don't have a passion for it, you ain't going to list. You ain't going to make nothing of it. And every reseller loves it, except the cleaning, the shipping, the photoing, and
if it's close, the measuring.
The only thing fun about it is the buying.
Yeah.
Now we enjoy it all.
The cha-ching's pretty fun too.
Yeah, we
nothing brightens your day than hearing that cha-ching. Yeah.
So do y'all have any final questions for
Eric
or us before we wrap this up?
Yeah, if y'all haven't subscribed to Eric OBX Picker, do yourself a favor, go over there and check him out, show him the love. He's great. I can't say enough things about him. He's a great guy. And he'll show you his good buys, his bad buys, and he'll drop the knowledge on you. Matthew says, what's everybody's favorite color? That's a tough one.
Mine's green. Always been green before. Probably I was old enough to count money. So.
What did he say?
This one?
Yeah. No. Where'd it go?
It keeps jumping. Sorry.
At Redneck Resell and OBX Picker, did anyone talk about PayPal calling people to take out small business loans just prior to the pandemic?
We didn't get a phone
call.
I
didn't get a phone call.
I didn't get that either.
If they would. Yeah, you just gotta. I know they got that working capital. You just gotta be careful with that kind of stuff.
Good to have you, Yellow Brick Road.
Debbie Rice says, have you ever sold anything to anyone famous? She sold a jacket to the set of $2.5 million.
Huh. That's not crazy. That I know of. Independently wealthy. Yeah, depending on being on wealth. Yeah, laying it out. Yeah, Johnny was one of my early subs, man. I went in his channel one day. So thank you, John.
Right. Yeah, if you took out a loan right now, I would be worried about it.
The flipping hustler.
Howdy. Good to have you in here.
Good to have you, bro. Let's see. Yeah, guys. Obviously, to kind of follow up too with you guys. I was stoked to find y'all's channel as well because I know that you're genuine. Like when I watch and see that you're like, I'm pretty sure I've actually talked to Colton on the phone and he's the same as what he is on the YouTube channel. Like there's no different voices going on or like he's the same right on through. So, I appreciate that and other guys as well. And there's a lot of great channels on YouTube and what I see out of our community is it is one that supports one another. I look down this list of chats and there's tons of people in here that have supported me and given me advice at times. And, obviously I'm very appreciative of that and very appreciative of you guys having me on today. And for you guys that watch my channel and, drop comments, we've had some, thank you for your support. So it's great to be here.
I appreciate that, Eric. I sure do. Like I say, if nothing else, this YouTube has brought me some great friends like Eric, and I can't, that's worth everything that we've done thus far.
As well as some great opportunities.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Yeah, make sure y'all go give Eric some love. Eric, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, buddy.
And you got anything coming up you want to share with everybody?
Actually, we're supposed to be, our show is actually doing a collab video with Nate and Anthony tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So we'll be on Nate and Anthony's channel. I'm not sure which one of their channels it is yet. He hasn't sent me the link yet. So myself and Sam and Jacob will all be on there. Cool. And then, our normal Friday night show that we do at 8 o'clock on Fridays, that will be happening this week. We have Andy Sameta on, so you won't want to miss that. That'll be good. And that's kind of what we got going on. And
Eddie asked about our car. So our car is still in the shop, and we dropped it off. They were running their test, waiting to see if the Kia's going to fix it or whatever. So
still ain't heard anything.
We're still waiting. I'm driving that Cadillac, enjoying it. Now, hopefully we'll hear something after the long weekend. I think maybe Tuesday. So hopefully it'll be fixed before too long. But yeah. You all have a great Memorial Day. Don't, remember what Memorial Day is for.
Yeah, and that's it.
Also keep an eye out next week. We'll be doing some drawings.
Yeah, we got a giveaway video coming out because you people are so awesome. And we blew right past 500. So we're going to be doing a giveaway. We got one mug in. We're waiting on the other one.
Yeah.
Here's one of them. Go check that out.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. And we're waiting on another one.
And the other cup is completely different from this one. Yeah. It's the one you've seen in a couple videos back.
I think it'll be here Tuesday, hopefully. So y'all watch out for some giveaways. We got some cups, some IKEA bags, maybe some jewelry or watches. Don't know.
Never know.
I don't want to list them.
I gave Jennifer some stamps. When I did my 100 giveaway, dude, I had a tote of stamps. There's wooden stamps. And I was like, for my second prize, I'm going to give away a bag of those rigs. Because I was like, man.
Well, he got a little.
I got on Cincinnati Pickers, and I just seen it available, so I was buying.
So now I have like 2 or 3 bags of jewelry that I haven't went through.
Man, it is funny if you see something on somebody else's selling. Like I did that with Rev, dude. I went right out and got some cards. Like I was like, man, let's do it. So
we also got Johnny's mug here. Y'all check that out. Nate over Every Day I'm Hustling made this.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, it is phenomenal quality. Like I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but
yeah, that's cool.
I know he's got a bunch of content for a bunch of different resellers. So y'all go check out Nate Everyday I'm Hustling eBay store.
You can also find cat stuff down there.
Yeah.
But, Eric, it's been great having you on, man. I appreciate it. We appreciate everybody in the chat. And if we ain't got nothing else, we'll see you guys and gals tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.